Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. We are back with a roster video. We are doing these kind of rapid fire right now because of everything that is going on in the game. Our general structure, we're looking at our Marquees and recent unlocks. Progress towards major projects. Right now that means GL Ahsoka, Balin Skull Epic Confrontation, and looking at that new assault battle that we've been having that's about to show up again. Datacrons and Omicrons and gear related to those. And then we have got the new raid, Naboo raid. We are making incremental progress on that each week as we farm some shards, get more signal data, get more materials to increase relic levels. And before we get started, I do need to send a sincere, heartfelt thank you to Tract over on the Discord. He's one of the most active participants over there, a long-time supporter, and he wanted to send his appreciation with a Lightspeed bundle for SLKR. Some of that because he finds it frustrating that I don't have him, which I understand at moments like these where the current Datacron sets, I absolutely would be benefiting from having SLKR. It's very valuable and important counter right now, and I've been struggling without it. But he also gifted this several months ago, and I have delayed on claiming it, partly because I knew I was going to accidentally claim it at some point, and it finally happened. I just like to approach these things on my own timeline. We're going to continue to see that because I'm not going to actually finish off SLKR right now. We are using my resources to go after different GLs. But I do really appreciate all of the support that he has been giving over the years. Like, we've been doing this a long time. So again, thank you very much. Last week, we got our first of the Balin Skull Epic Confrontation characters in Morgan Elsbeth. So we are gearing her up to the level that we do with all these characters, which is gear 11. I like to bring characters to that gear 11 staging ground. In terms of gear, she's not that bad. We, in my kit reveal video, broke down her gearing requirement. She's about average, and actually a little bit she's below average when it comes to like the relic level. And for a tank, very light on Carbantes and stun guns. And I'm going to drop on all these pieces because they're just free now. This is the stuff that I was sole person talking about when these raid changes happened. Now let us take these Omegas. The Ami here, this I think is potentially very interesting, but I don't think there's a lot of reason to do it right now. I think we need to wait for the other characters. I do think that cooldown will be valuable. Also, maybe if you had these characters already at Relics, there'd be reason to prioritize it. I don't. It's going to be a while, so I don't think there's going to be a huge benefit. This one, though, I think is pretty valuable considering she's going to be taunting all the time. You want that recovery, so we'll put this on right away, and we'll see what we can do with some minor testing. As you can see, we did use the crystals to take her up to 4 stars and get a little advanced progress on her 5-star. That is a nice option when CG offers it. I don't think CG is going to be consistent with this. I think right now they're just doing some A/B testing, seeing what happens when they do or don't with the crystal income and their revenue within the game. And next item is we are actively farming Master Qui-Gon. We can take him up to 6 stars, and we're making a good amount of progress towards that 7th star. I don't think he's going to get there before the assault battle, but he might be close enough where I might want to consider some crystals to finish him off, because you can see we're at 35 out of 100. Maybe by the end of today with the refreshes, I'm going to get him up to 40. We've got another day after this to gain some shards, so he'll probably get to 40-ish shards away. Then from the early tiers of the event, we might get lucky where we can take him up to we get close enough where I might want to consider using crystals to finish him off. Don't know right now, probably not. I might just be patient. One iteration of the event's not going to be a big deal, but it is tempting. And before we start dropping gear, I do want to establish the context of everything. We got our Jar Jar requirements. We've got a week or so on, so we have to be a little bit careful here because we can't make some of the stuff up, and we do want to take Jar Jar up to Relics right away. All the requirements are already set. With the raid, this is going to be the most important, but it's nice that it overlaps with things like Cadme and Pow, and Master Qui-Gon, but we don't have too much signal data because we have been farming those shards. So we are limited on how much we can actually tackle here, but I think we are going to make some progress because from the testing that we've done during this first week of 3v3, I have more perspective on how I feel about Cadme and Pow and that squad, which we'll talk about in a moment. Then our Ahsoka requirements. This will just take a little bit of time on. We just don't have the signal data. As we get more signal data, that'll increase our flexibility to make some other choices. And then this column, I haven't updated this in a while. I don't think it includes anything related to the current Datacron set, but that's where it would go. Right now we just ignore it. We don't have the resources to be able to entertain it. But what we do have is a lot of Kairos that we can feel pretty comfortable spending. And based on the Ahsoka requirements that are known right now, not speculating ahead, we are very healthy and in a surplus of all the Gear 12 Plus materials. So we can feel pretty comfortable spending some of these, at least for now. I guess what's not in here is Balin's Skull requirements, because Morgan Elsbeth is actually not in here. I need to decide where I'm going to categorize those requirements. The bulk of what we want to do today is going to be raid related. Luminar squad, I need to be pushing these. I was careful not to take her up to Relic 5, even though I haven't really been farming the signal data. We're going to do it because we want to be making that progress, and we have a raid ending today that I want to be playing for, but we can't afford more than Relic 5 right now. And that's going to be the same with Kit Fisto so that we can utilize this squad. I am going to try some things. One of the things I want to try later today is if I can just do a 4-person squad, because if I can do a 4-person squad of this, it means I can do a 4-person squad with Kelleran, which I already did test out with Shak T, and that got me to a max score on that tier, a lower tier, but it would mean I also wouldn't have to take another Jedi up to Relics, at least at this stage, which I would prefer to avoid if I can, because we got to be saving Kairos right now for GL Ahsoka, just what's to come. And the next squad we're looking at is the Cadme squad. This is what I was alluding to a little bit earlier. We've been doing some 3v3 testing. One of the things I tried was Cadme, Padawan, and Master Qui-Gon up against a Kelleran squad, because I knew at least with the comp that Kelleran squad it was all single targeted damage. So I knew Pow in particular wasn't going to be vulnerable to an AoE taking him out. So I went with this testing at this Gear 11 level, and it was just not good. There's not enough damage for them to do anything. So at that stage, I think we have figured out that there's not going to be effective Gear 11 viability. Even on defense, the decoy goes down way too quickly to be useful. So I think we can safely take these characters up to Relics now, and I have an informed opinion on how I feel about the Gear 11 version of this squad, where there are some characters like a Seer Junda squad. Yeah, that's a Gear 11 squad. Or Nightsisters, yeah, you can be doing plenty with them at Gear 11. This squad, that's a no. Now, we're not really in a position where I want to take her up to higher Relics, but we can at least take her to Relics very comfortably. That I know we have the resources for. And we can do Relic 1. Relic 1 is basically free. I mean, not free. Those carbonite circuit boards are valuable, but we're not going to be put into a compromised position on those. Same deal with Pow up to that Relic 1 level, and then we'll just have to wait on Master Qui-Gon, who should be done. I mean, it'll be this week. It's just going to be a couple days. We're getting about 16 to 20 shards a day. So some pretty quick and healthy progress on that farm. I love those Cantina farms. And this is another squad where I'd like to go down to a 4-man. I've been trying a lot of 4-man squads. It's just because I'm trying to save on Relics. And what I did is I took Qui-Gon off of that squad. Actually, I should even have it on this graphic. I actually didn't like him there at all. Qui-Gon moved down to Kelleran. What I did like was Plo with Cadme, because that helped a lot. But I don't want to take him to it didn't help enough to warrant doing this at a lower tier. If I can do this at a higher tier, not worry about his relics, that would be my preference. Because what I also don't want to do is I have to take like B2 and some of these other characters up to relics to give myself a separatist droid squad, because that would be the most Cairo intensive option for me, because I don't have a lot of those characters previously at relics, even though they are good and they would be valuable to me at that level. It's just everything's an opportunity cost, and right now it's a cost I'd prefer not to pay. Here's a look at the Datacrons that I was able to collect. We'll be able to get some more credits and push at least another one of these up to level 9. I don't think I have the higher materials to do both of them up to Relic 9. I would like to get the Nest one. The Datacrons that I've been targeting are these Datacrons right here. So I just got Visas. We got Barris 000 Watt. I really like the 000 one right now. Barris kind of a little bit inconclusive based on where I've used it. Visas I haven't been able to test yet. That one's new. Nest is one I want, and I may re-roll to get it. We've got Wampa, that I've been pretty happy with so far, although I need to re-roll some of those lower level abilities. Bosk and Gamu we don't have. I do have Nihilus, haven't been able to test that one out. Actually, all of these in this section we have Stormtrooper Han, we have Sabine. Han, the way I'm thinking about it right now, this is going to be a 5v5 Cron, so I am going to hold off on Relics on that character. Nihilus is in this section as well because like I don't have Scion for right now. We don't need Scion in 3v3, so that is going to be held off on. Sabine's done. That she could technically move into a different section graphically, but this is good enough. And then I have a lot of these Crons. I grabbed the cup. I've got Garsax and I've got Young Han, but these are the characters I don't have ready. Their squads aren't ready. Same deal with Aiden, but I don't have that Cron to not drop for me, so it's not something I need to consider right now. And I think that's how we're going to address today. The only other thing I'm considering, we're not going to take these characters up to Relics, but I do want to remod. Like, I do want to give Acolyte way more crit chance. I might add some of these Gear 12 materials at some point, but it's really important that she crits, and you can see right now she's not close. And then same deal kind of with Spirit. Spirit's better with offense, but one of the things in the testing that I've been seeing, at least at the lower levels, is you really need crits to land for Morgan to be able to work the way that she's supposed to. And it's one thing in the kit reveal video, I was talking about what's nice about Initiate and why we can't rule her out yet, is right now this ability here with crit chance up, an AoE crit chance up, that might turn out to have some value on that squad if you're not reliably landing crits, because that affects all of the other mechanics. We're tacking on an addendum to this roster video because it's only been a couple more days. I've got Master Qui-Gon done and I want to make some roster changes, and waiting several days until the next period doesn't make much sense, particularly when we're already behind on videos. And right now my priority is pushing things a little bit more for the arena, so this is a priority. We were about a day short for the assault battle. We were close enough that had he just appeared in the shop, I would have bought the crystals and pushed it to 7 stars, but I didn't really have the signal data to go for some of the higher tiers of that assault battle, so it just didn't really make sense for me to really push things. I can't even take him up too high right now, but we do have enough to take him up to Relics, so that we will definitely be doing. And I think in terms of the signal data, we're going to be very careful because you can see we've got about 330 or something like that of that piece. It's going to go fast. We don't have what we really need here. I do kind of want to go to Relic 3, but the problem is Relic 3 on that many characters is, I think, cost prohibitive at this point. So I think what I want to do is I need to make sure that Datacrons I can actually use. And here are the Datacrons that I've been targeting and working to use, and one of the mistakes that happened in Grand Arena this week is I didn't have the Relic levels I needed to use the level 9 ability on Nihilus. I just forgot about it. So I need to take Nihilus up to 5, so that will no longer be a wasted Cron, and we can get the full benefits out of that. Now, Scion we would still need in 5v5. We are leaving that off. Stormtrooper Han is interesting. We're not going to consider right now. We are done with Sabine. There's some rerolls I might want to consider, but we need mats and materials. The rest of this I am satisfied with right now, although there are some abilities I want to reroll on some of these Crons, but there's nothing related to the Relic levels. Which brings us right back here towards the raid. So I think how we're going to approach this is I do want to do some of this progress. We just got to do it incrementally to see what we can actually afford. I'm going to see if we can do Relic 3 on everyone. I don't think we're going to be able to, though, because you can see where we are at on the circuit boards. We can probably do it on Master Qui-Gon. Not even probably. We can definitely do it on Master Qui-Gon. The question is Cadme. So that gets us here. I think we got enough. Yeah, I think we can do 2 here. Now we got just a ton of work to do to replace all of these resources. Because it definitely, we got Jar Jar coming up. We have a lot of things coming down on us fast. Now, though, I can dedicate my resources towards signal data because we got nothing left to farm. But I do like to prioritize my farms. Now, I guess the question is Omicron-wise, do I want to add any Amis? Cadme, let me remind myself what these do. The leader was some role-based stats, which it's not bad, it's not great. And this one, I think what I want to do is test this stuff out now that they're at Relics and see where they're at. Then we can start making some more decisions. Because if this is functional, maybe not. If it doesn't do anything, then we're going to keep investing. One thing I was considering and I can afford is taking one of these characters up to Relic 8. I think I'm going to hold off though. I was really tempted to like bring up Bane to Relic 8, but I think we're done here. Just a quick little addendum. So with that, we got some raid stuff to finish. I hope that we get our next set of GL Ahsoka requirements pretty soon, because I would like to keep planning ahead, because that's what I like to do. I like to plan. But thank you for watching. Be excellent to each other, everybody. This still plays Galaxy of Heroes.